Koenact is dying. Its barren fields provide little food, and its crumbling walls offer no protection. As the power of the Guardian men here fails, the weirdness creeps ever closer. Twisting places, creatures, and even space itself. Despite this, the people of the Farmhold refuse to leave. Instead, Lord Yvain led 4 of their best on a desperate mission to Camelot. They promised to bring back help. They never returned. Now those left behind are growing desperate. They will try to bestow the burden of their fate on someone else. New heroes, with an even slimmer chance of success.
Alright. So, everyone joining in just now, we're starting our second playthrough of this because I screwed up on the first one without the audio and we got killed by a boss, so I thought that was a great way to end our premature death. So for those of you who never played Tainted Grail before, it is based on a board game which is adapted onto a video game by Working Realms, one of my favorite companies actually. And inside the story of the Tainted Grail, the heroes have left the village of Koenact, and we are what's left. And we're setting out to either find the heroes and find out what's going on, because we haven't heard anything from them. So our 2 characters are Alay and Br. And Alay is an outcast whose entire family perished in the wilderness. She makes a modest living supplying healing herbs and roots to the locals. A local smith, known for his short temper, Br, his incredible strength, he does his best to conceal a festering, unhealable wound in his side that he received under mysterious circumstances. It should be noted that due to balancing issues and systems shared between campaign and conquest, both characters currently play the same. If you want to see the diversity of playstyles we've planned for the game, check out the conquest mode and help us in developing proper thematic decks for both Br and Alay. And we're gonna pick Br again.
Not long ago, Ephir's Forge supplied the southern lands with weapons and armor of quality comparable to arms crafted by masters of Camelot. Materials brought directly from the mines of Forlorn Swords, as well as Ephir's unrivaled knowledge, made his swords and shields particularly sought after. But with quality and renown came steep prices that not every soldier could pay out of pocket. You were the happiest person on this damned island when Ephir took you under his wing to teach you the basics of his craft. Now, the ruin of his house, the place where you spent countless hours hammering on the blacksmith's iron, looms at the edge of the weirdness, rotting away, a shade of its former glory. Your hand touches the key in your pocket. Every day it feels a little heavier. Every day you wonder whether you will be able to force yourself to walk through that door again. Why would you even try to save his legacy after he found you insufficient? After he lied to you? After he left you behind like a broken tool? With hazy eyes and less than confident hands, you open the door. Maybe that last ale wasn't a good idea. Maybe it was. The fact is that now you're drunk out of your mind, but as you sit near a large workbench, you notice a piece of parchment on the floor under it. That damned letter. You've read it 1,000 times by now. You've tried to burn it 1,000 times more.
Read the letter again.
In this short note, your master explains the reason why Yvain did not take you on his quest. The young lord of Koenact believed you too reckless, and he saw your wound as a liability. However, he tries to convince you that should their expedition fail, you might be the only hope Koenact has to survive. It's not like you believe a single word he wrote.
We got a letter from Infirmary. I don't think we're gonna burn it. We're just gonna go to sleep. We can work through the night at the cost of 5 resource. I'm not too sure what resource are, but resource and wealth are 2 different things. So this is your gold and this is your resource. And we're just gonna go to sleep.
You decide to sleep it off. There's always another day. You wake as the sun sets. Usually, by this time, you'd already be on your way to the inn. You might be able to force yourself to get some work done before you leave, though. The wound in your side suddenly throbs, and you punch it in response. Pain and rage overwhelming you for a moment. Only then you notice one of the farmhold's guardians standing in front of you, his mouth agape.
Don't you know how to knock?
I am sorry, but it's your turn to lay an offering.
God-forsaken offering. It was not your turn today, and even if it were, you know the truth. The Menhir's protection won't last. Oblivion stretches its cold hands towards Koenact farmhold after claiming many other parts of Avalon.
You must have read the ledger wrong. It's not my turn.
The guard hesitates for a moment.
The knight. He changed our ledger. You are now first on the list.
Anger seethes in you again, causing your wound to burn. The guard sees that and adds,
He's from bloody Camelot. We are not to question his methods. Please, just go and see to the offering.
All right.
Time passes. Your wound throbs again, as if something was trying to rip free and join the rolling clouds of weirdness outside. Sitting here any longer would be a torture.
Okay, so our game's saved here. We have all our items here, and our inventory, our quest, if we ever get lost, is right here into the main quest log, organized like so. And the game is an isometric view down. Basically, you played Diablo, and this is one of my favorite things about it. I thought it was going to be an overview map and you just move like you did inside the board game, but no, it's an actual isometric view and you get to explore everything. It's amazing. Now, this is our character, Bior. He has one weapon, which is his rusty hammer. He has his apron, one key, some mead, some food, and a letter from Ephron. And we have more food here. Resources we can gain from doing things, not too sure what. Wealth is easily gained by killing things. And let's see what else is there. Our deck. This game is basically a big deck building game, which is something I really enjoy about it. So inside the original game, you have multiple characters, and I think you can recruit more people inside your party as time goes on. But basically, as you level up, you get new cards to put inside your deck. And I haven't found a way to destroy cards from your deck yet, so use that with a word of caution, because you're not too sure if you're going to be populating your deck with useless cards. And there's effects, quest log, yeah. And let's move along.
The local Menhir now towers above you, weathered and cracked, its ribbons flapping in the wind. The thought that this tired old thing is the only protection from pure weirdness outside a farmhold sends shivers up your spine. Menhirs, raised by Merlin himself in the Age of Conquest, are said to have different appetites.
Oh.
The one before you seems to best respond to fresh blood, and its thirst is not easy to quench.
Look for a sacrifice or sacrifice our own blood. So 100 health. We have 200. We're going to look for a sacrifice.
The Menhir can be sated with animal blood, just as easily as with human offering. Unfortunately, livestock is now scarce and very expensive. You will need to hunt down some wild creature and drag it back to this place. The thought of chasing prey on the edge of weirdness makes you anxious. Your eyes slide past the Koenact's prison broch. Maybe there is another, safer way to appease the Menhir.
Leave here. And we press tab, just like in Diablo, we'll bring up our map. We can look at what's going on here. This is our field of vision, and we kind of want to go here for some strange reason. But we can also move around the place and explore each one of these areas. And the Forge Master's home. We want to work to build a weapon. And this time we've gotten another random weapon. The first time I got a dagger. This time we've got the Shredder. Which doesn't look like a Shredder, it's just a long sword. But I'm guessing this because it's still in beta, they haven't finalized the design on this. I think it's the same thing with the dagger that I made last time. So Bior's weapon does 9 to 14 damage, plus 1 energy. Now, the weapon does 9 to 14 damage. Bior's rusty hammer would do 5 to 8. Let's see what else we can get around here. They takes home, healing their wounds, helping children with childbirth, and schooling children. Even when the Red Priest moved in, she didn't stop her pagan practices. Now this ruined house, first robbed to the last nail that could have been used and then burnt by accident, stands as a testament to how the townsfolk decided to repay her the moment she left with Forge Master Ephron and Lord Yvain on the quest to find the Grail. If you notice here as well, it will tell you what kind of steps that you've been made. You walk to the wilderness, a truly dangerous environment. Combat encounters in the wilderness will be harder, but can be more profitable. Other interactions on the map can be a little bit more different too. If you will have a weird candle in your quick slot, you can click on it to repel the weirdness. You can add items to your quick slot in your inventory by pressing I. Same goes for combat items. Remember to set them before going to combat. You only have 4 slots during combat, and they can make the difference between life and death. We're just gonna kill this crazy dog. I didn't get this the first time I did it. Combat. Let's get the tutorials. And now let's just do it. The number in the upper left-hand corner is our energy cost. The name above is the name of the action. Skills, which you unlock later, sometimes require certain card types. Remember to add items you want to use at the combat slot in your inventory. While creating your character, you also pick their rune. All runes have their passive bonus and ultimates. Charge your rune during combat and use this power to your advantage. Hover on the enemy to see their description. Knowing their behavior is crucial. Some enemies are immune to stun, etc. Always pay attention to the enemy intent. These icons explain what they intend to do on their turn. This is where you'll see the current armor value of your enemy. Armor is the number of damage reduction. Minus 60 means you'll be attacking for 60 more damage. Last but not least, pay attention to icons appearing under the enemy's health bar. This can give you a lot of valuable information. You'll notice that the wolf is currently suspended in animation. This is probably something in the developer's idea, because they haven't finished putting in the animations. So we're gonna do a couple of small strikes and finish it off with execution blow. 10 EXP, 2 wealth, food, and a carcass. What's this? What kind of building is that? Seems as though I can't explore it. That's sad.
You spill the blood at the foot of the statue. The cracked stones drink greedily. You feel the menhir's power surging. Once again, the weirdness is pushed back. Once again, the land returned to Koenact is smaller than before, barely reaching past the furthest buildings of the farmhold. Bystanders disperse, and you sit down to catch your breath. Most of the people are now heading for the mead hall to raise a toast for yet another day Koenact bought itself with blood.
Okay, going to the mead hall, and we're just going to follow this little map here.
The moods in the mead hall are sour. While relieved that the town bought some time, by now even the simplest of Koenact's folk realize this can only go on for so long.
Curse this place. Curse the stinking birth of Teuton. Yvain should be back with us by now. Perhaps he got too comfortable in Camelot. Speak in Yvain's defense.
You walk up to them and tell them the truth. That they have no idea how it is beyond the menhir's light. That Yvain and his group are fighting for you while you sit in the warm mead hall. That you should show them some respect. You almost believe this yourself. You take a place at the edge of the hall, while people begin to talk about sending someone else to find help for Koenact. Many of them look toward you as they speak. You now feel stupid for drawing so much attention to yourself.
Silence!
Conversations cut off immediately. The crowd parts, and a massive figure pushes towards you. The maimed knight is here. Was he sitting in some far corner of the hall the entire time? Or did he arrive just now?
Leave us alone.
Guards gently escort everyone but you outside, ignoring the pleas of people who just started their drinks. Guards take their posts on the other side of the door and make sure no one is eavesdropping by the outside wall. You're now alone with the night.
You were able to talk sense into these people, to hold things together when tempers ran high. Good. You might just be the person I was hoping to find.
Ooh.
Someone who could handle an urgent task.
How urgent?
Your hand grasps the letter in your pocket. Your mentor also asked you to step up. But what if they were wrong?
I kept watching you today. I needed to see how well you deal with hardships and obstacles before I tell you the truth.
The truth that the Menhir is valid.
Is he attempting to smile with the unspoiled half of his face? Or is it an angry grin?
It would seem this secret is even worse kept than I imagined. Yes, the Menhir won't last much longer. How do you know?
I felt it when I made the offer.
Another proof I was right about you.
When Lord Yvain left me in charge of this farmhold, I thought the task was beneath me. Turned out it's quite the opposite. I cannot travel outside anymore. Will you help me?
What do you want me to do?
We have to find a way to strengthen the Menhir and buy more time, so that Yvain may finish his quest. Blood is not sufficient anymore. We need another source of power to lay at its feet.
The clouds of weirdness are still just outside the town. It's impossible to travel.
The knight reaches for the satchel at his side and hands you a couple of candles made from strange dark wax. You shudder. You never thought you'll have to use one of these foul things.
Weird candles. Make every one of them count. Some more may still be bought around Koenact, but they get scarcer by the day. And do not make a mistake of thinking that their light turns you invulnerable. If you keep peering too long into the weirdness, it is bound to look back.
We got 5 weird candles, but where should we look?
In days of old, before the purges, it was druids who took care of Menhirs. The one Yvain cast out from the city may still be alive. You may also ask someone who knows a thing or two about objects infused with magic. Your people speak about a witch in the woods to the west. Maybe she knows what could help our stone.
If you don't go out there, no one will. In weeks, the town will be swallowed whole. Don't wait until the weirdness is at your very doorstep.
Okay. Let's travel west. Lone guard glance, is it you? She got chosen by the knight. Go, then, and bring some light to this damn town. I just hope you're not planning to bail on us, now that the roads are a little bit clearer, like this ungrateful foundling did. Who? You know, Niante's herb girl, L.A. She stormed off as soon as you lit the Menhir. Did she tell you where she was going? She never tells us when she's sneaking in or out of the farmhold, but this time she went down the path leading to Caraway Inn. If you stumble upon her, maybe you can talk some sense into her. So we gotta go to Caraway's Inn. And that's a zombie, infected human, and you can tell what power level he is by what's represented over here. It says trivial, so we should be able to deal with him fairly easily. Let's see what we got. He's preparing for an attack, so he's not going to hit us next turn, or this turn. So we're just going to do some small strikes, then hard hit. And we got 180 XP, so we level up. And how leveling up works in this is that we get 1 new card. This turn plus 50% armor. Duel reduces the enemy's attack armor by 30. Deal 52 to 68. And If an enemy was killed by this card, increases damage by 50% for the remainder of combat. Ooh, right. So, fighting against bosses, I don't think the finishing blow will be pretty good unless the bosses start spawning a whole bunch of minions. So, not too sure we're going to take that. Then you attack him with your base damage. I think reducing their armor is the best thing to do here. We also get a passive skill, and every time we get a passive skill, it's always random. So what we want to do, base damage for 10%. Not exactly the best. 50%, 50 maximum HP. No, duplicate your first attack in every combat. Now that one's nice. Now we are going... Inns are rare in Avalon due to a few roads and the dangers of weirdness, but this crooked building commanded the road to Farshire for many decades. You're relieved to see it standing, even though it's still eerily silent and there's not a single merchant in the trading post by its walls. We're going to examine the inn. You walk around the building looking for anything suspicious. It seems unspoiled by the weirdness. There's a legend that fragments of an old shattered menhir are embedded in the foundation of the inn. Perhaps that's what's kept it in such good shape. There's some smoke coming from one of the chimneys. Enter the inn. As you reach for the door, it suddenly swings open. A small figure barges outside, her every movement projecting anger and frustration. She turns one last time towards the dark interior of the inn, delivering her final words. Screw you too, Buckteeth. You recognize her. She was the ward of Priestess Niente. Other people of your farmhome distrusted her, since she was the only survivor of a weird storm that claimed her family. We could use your help in Koenact delay. No later than this morning, someone spat on me and called me a weird storm, and you're asking me to help defend these people. Her laughter pierces you like a sharp icicle. I'm asking you to do what Niente would have done. She was loyal to her farmland hold through thick and thin. Sudden anger lights up a lady's face. I'm not Niente, understood? I don't even care for her. She abandoned me. She left me alone with these... She stops short of a sob and turns her head away, wiping a tear. Put your hand on her. You try to comfort her. After a moment, she pushes your hand away and regains her composure. Seriously, give me one good reason why I should save Koenact. Your home is there. We are your new family. You lost your parents to the weirdness. Do not doom other children to share your fate. Our legends are dead. Time to make some new ones. The third one is what's speaking to me. She opens her mouth to deliver another snarky reply, but the words get stuck in her throat. After a moment, she shakes her head. Good. Old think of the children, eh? If you only knew the horror of watching the weirdness take your close ones, seeing them mangled out of shape, twisted into something monstrous. She straightened herself. Yes, if you really want to stop that, I could work with you. Could? Is there something more you need? Her gaze suddenly turns cold and distant. Yes. If what they say about me comes true in the end. If I ever turn out to be the monster wearing human skin that people believe me to be, will you do what needs to be done? Yes. My pat is your pat. I'll see you in Koenact. Enter the inn. You take your place in the common hall, and the owner comes to welcome you. His broad shoulders and buck teeth betray he has a drop of giant's blood in his veins. His voice shakes the beam of the building. I'm looking for a witch. She's supposed to be living in these woods. The innkeeper looks at you suspiciously. What would you want with this witch? Ah, doesn't matter. Head north and west at the crossroads. You'll find your witch. Any news from the far-off lands? Nay, there be no open trails. Without trails, there be no travelers. Without travelers, there be no news. What kind of supplies you got for me? I have 2 wealth. So, yeah, I can't afford anything, so let's just move back. Leave. We're gonna go back to Koenact to see what we can do with Allay. Could kill that bounty hunter. Soon. Because inside the board game, you do get to play with a party. And hopefully we'll be able to get another character on our side. And this is Niante's home, which I'm assuming is Allay's home. You see Allay sitting in front of Niante's home. As you approach, you realize she is working hard to keep the tears. She's clearly in shock. The moment you open your mouth to say something, she cuts in. Don't. Allay, It wasn't worth it. I agreed to help out. I agreed to get back, and it turns out that I was right. All these years, they didn't want us here. It didn't matter what she did for them. They just... Oh man, what do I say? We will rebuild this place. You're right, they're not worth it. If we say they're not worth it. We will rebuild this place. You do your best to convince Allay that the people of the Stronghold aren't inherently evil. That you've heard what they say about you, about her, about anyone who's different, and it's just a reflection of their fear. The fear that this place will be consumed by the weirdness and that their miserable lives will end. And since it's a force they don't understand, they will blame everyone else for causing the trouble. As your monologue turns into conversation, you see Allay get happier, even cheerful. She decides to stay and ask for help with rebuilding her home. Oh, fuck. 500 bones. Alright, let's start grinding some money. The witch was up this hill to the right. And guessing that's where she is. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get a little bit more money. Hopefully get Allay on our side. He's applying a debuff. So we're just going to small strike him here. Oh yeah, our first attack does double. Okay. Oh man, I should have used hard hit then. Next time. Yeah. Ah. Alright, so we're not getting a lot of money, but we're getting a lot of experience. Man, we're so short of 500. Let's see what we can do here. Inventory, we'll put out the weirdness candle. Acid flasks we'll keep over here. Allows you to brave the weirdness without any repercussion. Radius of 30. Lasts for 5 turns. Hidden wealth. Need all them dollar bills, baby!
There are many grisly tales about candle makers who secretly made their candles out of people they were supposed to protect. You're not sure if it's safe to enter.
So fast. They burn out so fast. Perhaps if I... No. I may need both later. The candles aren't out, are they? You're not one of the weird spawns? I can't sell you any. I barely make enough to keep myself alive.
Ask if I can help.
Actually, yes, you can, if you dare. The candles I make require specific materials. You see, we don't know much about the weirdness. The druids, they discovered quite a lot over the years. But then peasants sharpened their pitchforks, lined the druids up in the charred conclave, and set them alight. No wonder they're not keen on sharing their knowledge anymore.
What are the materials you need?
But the one thing you can learn, if you simply observe, is that weirdness seems allergic to humans. It feels like something about us weakens its hold. And what is it we humans are best at? What is it we're unconditional masters of? My candles, you might say, are formed from death.
That. Understood.
And that's all right with you?
Yeah, I mean, we need to be able to walk through the weirdness. It's a matter of survival.
Whatever you say.
He disappears for a time and returns with wax, fat, and other ingredients you don't recognize.
I had no problems finding supplies in Grubwood, but something happened there. Something disturbing. I feel something wrong hiding there.
You're trying to scare me
No,
off.
it's just a creature I haven't seen before, or rather a beast of unusual size. A Wyerm I've spotted near the swamps. I firmly believe it's connected to what's happening in Grubwood. Find it. Kill it. Clear me a path so I can scavenge what I need from its corpse. And I promise you'll never run out of weird candles again.
Infinite candles if we manage to kill one worm. Alright, sounds like a good transaction. Some say they infect one another. So our first attack each combat will happen twice. Grab some stuff there. There's something trapped inside. Okay. One. And they're not attacking us. Damn it. This ought to kill him. 25 gold pieces and 400 EXP.
This witch was supposed to be a piece of local folklore that wet nurses used to scare little brats into submission. Now, as you stand in front of her place, you feel a shiver coming down your spine. Was she real all the time? Or did the weirdness conjure her from your town's myths and legends? Whichever is true, her devastated old ruin of a house looks like a piece of nightmare. Even though there's a faint candlelight coming from inside, everything about this place screams, "Run away!"
Get closer!
You barely make one step towards the door when a weird claimed monstrosity pounces right at you from the dark.
Okay. Oh dear. 110. It's going to attack us for probably 18 damage to 24. Our first attack does double. And we have 4 power, or 4 stamina. Attack, attack. This will deal 33 to 24. This will deal... This will finish it. Aha!
With the beast dead, there's nothing preventing you from entering the hut now.
Go inside.
The door creaks. You step inside, only to be stunned by a loud bang and a sudden flash of light. Among the smoke, a silhouette of a hooded woman waves her hands, performing what looks like magical gestures.
I'm just gonna wait.
Her mysterious incantations soon change into more discernible curses.
You bloody fool! Do you even realize what you've done? Without my pet, the next beast that comes this way will simply barge in.
You look back towards the creature you killed outside, and you suddenly feel a pang of shame.
Get out of here before you do more damage.
I mean, thinking about it logically, it wasn't a very strong pet. Here, have some money.
Don't think we're even, but this is a start.
Okay, I killed your guardian. What can I do to settle the score?
There might be a way to undo the damage you've done. I know a spell I could use to bind a new guardian to this place. There's one ingredient you have to bring me, though.
Tot.
The black tongue of a man hanged for his crime.
Where would I find this kind of tongue?
A couple of weeks ago, when the trail was still open, a patrol from Camelot caught and stringed up some brigands not far from here. Look for a great lone oak. Either that, or you can wait until someone in your farmhold deserves a good hanging. Just keep in mind, the crimes need to be real.
Okay. Great. Now I have to find a tongue. And I lost 25 gold, which I needed to save. What the? Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Can replicate random enemies with illusions. All illusions will die after one hit. Okay, so they're ephemeral. Let's do double the attack. Shield bash to stun. And attack again. And our turn there. Power this up. Some more small strikes. We can stun her now. And that's GG's. 600 EXP. Do we level up? That we do? What should we take? An AoE attack. Debuff. And -1 to all costs. I think this is the best one to have, because it scales pretty well. What's that? I'm just gonna move away from that. Oh, a barrow though. Can I go into the barrow? The tomb's entrance is collapsed and there's no way inside. Sad. So for the witch to help us, we need to find some sort of tongue to reanimate or create a new pact with her thing. Hidden Welt. 17. We need to kill a worm in order to get the candle lit.
Then, the Maiden of the Sea reached out, touching Percival's slender fingers. The knight sighed in rapture, but soon recoiled. We can't be together, my love. I have to follow Arthur's orders, and in a day, I'm storming the walls of Tuatan. Two thick tears formed in the maiden's eyes.
I don't think I'm going to be using the candle that often. I don't seem to... Ah! Tail-worthy. We don't want to attack that. We can't be more than level 3 at the moment. We shouldn't be killing things or fighting against things that are clearly over our pay. Just when our candle is over. Okay. Fight in weirdness. Immune to stun. So to kill him. Ooh. These candles don't last long enough for us to actually can use some of them. Challenging. Yeah, light the candle, attack the Cyclops. 600. Every turn doubles its damage. Oh, so it starts off at 5 and has 50% damage reduction. You can stun it using this. Actually, we use our all-in. And we'll use our breed control. Stun the enemy. Fighting against a Cyclops. So if he doesn't do damage, he doesn't double his damage. Okay. So stunning him will probably be the best thing to do. But we need to reduce his armor. I do have the Acid Blast, which we can use for this fight. We also have the ability to run away. So we're just going to use the Acid Blast. And do some hard hits. End the turn. 25 damage. Taunt the enemy. Stun the enemy. Do one more. And this will deal more damage. Plus the more hits we do, we can increase our brawler. 290 damage. Let's go for that. I was expecting a little bit more EXP for something that big. How do I get the chest? Where do I find the giant tree? Maimed Knight. Might as well fight a little bit more before our candle runs out. The old wood cracks grimly under your feet as you climb up the old tower. From the top, a fresh breeze welcomes you, and you can get your bearings of the land around you. The castle of Camelot far along the eastern shore, the reflective surface of the Mirror Lake directly to the north, the pale walls of Four Dwellers ruins to the northwest, and just to the southeast, the island Asylum looms, an ancient necropolis carved into solid rock and ruled by red priests. Okay. Hidden well.
Though I write this with some...
Ah, damn. Something in there. Can't retreat. Okay. And their turn. Let's start with some small strikes. Hopefully this will kill it, although I doubt it. Oh, we did it! Stun. Crafting component. Show this component to a competent blacksmith. We're a competent blacksmith.
The use of poisons applied to blades and arrows has become more and more prevalent in recent years. While it would be easy to blame the crisis of honor and chivalry for this sad state of affairs, the truth is simpler. It's hard to make people of the land abandon any trick that gives them an edge over greedy bands of brigands or aggressors.
How dare you stand in my way? Gonna stand our ground. Go all in. Small strikes. And we're gonna do 6 actually, because of our ability, which weakens him. there. Block damage. He's attacking 3 times next turn. We're just gonna stun him. Deal the attack. Breed. Stun again. Triple the damage if it's stunned. Oof.
Beasts.
Oh, right. Quick counter. Or shield slam. If your armor is above 40, stun the target. If the target intends to attack, stun. I think this is the better one. We could be using more. Steel is my body. Increase your armor by 10. On 5 cards played in 1 turn, plus 1 energy, draw 1 card. On each turn start, gain 3 brawler charges. I think this might be... This is the better one to have in the long term. We don't have any cards at the moment to let us draw more cards, so I think this is the one to take now. Man, why is it just a straight path? And I can't get back to the damn village. So all in, small strikes, get the vulnerable out. Stun the enemy. Stand the ground. Breed. Executioner strike, and just normal attack. Stun him. Don't think that's the play to make. We're just going to use breed control. Make these 0 cost. Duel. And we're just gonna hard hit. Take 32 damage. Reduce his armor again. Yeah, we're gonna block first, then reduce the armor. Stun the opponent. Stun him again. Man, this stun is a really useful thing to have. Too bad there's enemies out there that need the stun. Man, this is looking pretty damn nice. We have enough food, we have enough wealth in order to repair Alay's thing. So I kind of want to do that. End our turn. Executioner strike. Normal attack. And we level up. Quick counter allows us to multiply the effect. Alright, I think we're almost back. And we can get a lab into our party. We're gonna use a hard hit. Okay. Just gonna kill this. Finish this off. Alright, Alay, join my party. Here's 500 gold. Alay warmly greets you as you enter her home. Rest. And we're stuck in an infinite loop. Okay, so Alay doesn't actually join you, she just helps you. Oh man, that sucks. I was hoping for her to join us. Looking at the map, I'm guessing this is where the villager with the tongue is. This is where the druid is. What's up with the main knight? Down here. The lone figure stands hunched by a path into Koenact's cemetery. You reach for your weapon, expecting yet another obstacle, but your grip relaxes as you recognize the tattered cloak and broad shoulders. It's the maimed knight. Suspicions immediately flood your mind. He told you you couldn't go out anymore, but here it is, no candle ward in hand. You have to travel through pure wilderness to get here. The very thought of this chills you to the bone. Greet him. You make 2 louder steps and grunts to make your presence known. The maimed knight doesn't turn towards you, but he acknowledges you with a nod.
I did not expect you here. Were you following me? Wasn't there something else you were to do?
I also wasn't expecting you here.
I was, but I wanted to see this place one last time. Do not change the subject. Why are you here? Were you following me?
This is where people on my farmhold honor their dead. You have no place here.
Don't I? Was I so bad at running your little ungrateful farmhold?
Anger, frustration, and disappointment mix in the main knight's voice.
All right, I understand. You need to trust me if you're to follow me. Ask away.
Who lays here?
Nobody. Yet. Order is gone. So many knights missing. Gaheris tries his best in the borough. Bors has gone to the western farmholds to stop the war. Galahad is presumed dead since he abandoned the Round Table. But they don't have his insignia, so they can't name his descendant. And I'm stuck here, of all places. Please promise that should I fall, and I will fall sooner than later, you will do everything in your power to save this damned island.
The main knight turns around and walks away into the weirdness.
I'll see you at the farmhold. Please make haste with your search.
Offer him a weird candle for his journey. He stops for a moment.
No. What you're doing for Koenact now is far more important than my fate. Thank you for offering this, though. This was a knightly thing to say.
He sets off one more, and soon the tenderest of opalescent ward close in behind him. Okay. So we want to go to these areas with the little question marks on them. This is where I want to go next. We can't go through this way, because there's a big, scary man there. Immune to stun. Stun. And kill. Travel back into the weirdness, and of course we get ambushed. Oh, he has more health. Although we do get more EXP from it. Free control, everything else is free. We want to make it vulnerable, so we're going to do that. Executioner Strike to stun it. Crippling Strike again. Hold our ground. This ought to kill it. Getting a lot of EXP from this. Go talk to the druid. Gotta kill this monster though. Tell me your secrets, old man.
The small stone clocken looms in the mist. Over the years, you've heard many tales about the man who lives there. Some of them were used to scare the children of Koenact. Soon you notice the smoke rising slowly from the hut's chimney. A group of men set up their makeshift camp by the front door. It seems they're waiting for the druid to come out. Leader of the group looks at you from under his deep hood. His tattooed companions do not even honor you with a glance.
Be gone. It's your last warning.
I mean, he's giving me a warning, so I'm going to approach him.
People who are kind enough to warn you before they unsheathe their swords are a rarity these days. You approach the group, slowly and calmly.
Wasn't I clear enough?
It's clear you're here to get help. What's the issue?
Think you're smart, Tony? Why would you care? You're walking onto some thin ice.
I don't. I want to get inside and you're in the way. I help you out. You let me in?
Blunt. Good.
The hooded man slowly stands up. He's taller than anyone you've seen in your life.
You want to help out? Fine. We're starving here. Go hunt, bring us enough food, and we'll let you talk to the warlock.
Alright, I'll bring you some food. 5 food.
You give supplies to the men and they liven up. They must have been starving out here, waiting for the druids to let them inside. They invite you to sit and dine with them, as the laws of hospitality demand.
Go to the druid. Detain looks at you with a piercing gaze.
We had a deal, and deals are sacred. You may go.
You call out to the druid inside and give the scarred wooden door a push. Inside the clocken, the first thing you notice is a dense smell of rotting meat and human sweat. There's a man half laying on a bed in the corner, looking barely conscious. His hands are trembling.
Introduce yourself.
You shake the man's body, and after a while you see his eyes opening. He looks up at you with an absent gaze. Suddenly, he sits up on his bed and shouts,
I told you never to enter this place!
Before you can answer, he looks at you again.
Wait, who the hell are you?
We need your help with our minor.
I don't care.
I see how it goes. What do you want in return for your help?
Now, that's smart. That's what I like to hear. I'll tell you what I want. I want to go back to Koenact and finally lie down in my own damn bed with enough mead and mushrooms to carry me over to the other side. In my own home. The home that was taken from me by your lord. One and only Yvain the Dickhead.
I'll see what I can do.
Just remember, my old house, my old bed, me inside alone. No one bothering me, not now, not ever, save for the time when I run out of meat or drugs. And an apology from Yvain when you're at it.
You leave the druid's hut, still dizzy from the stench you felt inside. You look at the men patiently waiting for the druid junkie to let them in.
You got what you wanted from the warlock?
I did. There's a chance to save my village.
I'm happy for you. I'm glad you're trying to fight against the weirdness. Did the warlock say anything about us? I understand. A deal is a deal. You may go.
His men gaze at you hopefully, looking for any indication as to what their fate might be. You leave them disappointed.
I mean, in my defense, he didn't say anything, so what was I to do? We need to get his home back. We also need to go get a tongue for the witch to summon a familiar. Man, those are things I never thought I'd say. Alrighty then. Let's see how many of these guys we can kill. To end our turn here. Attack here. Small strikes. Block here. We should have used breathe instead. No, don't want to do that. Attack. Chain with quick counter. Double damage. Ooh, Grimoire of Reversal. Reverses target's next hit. Harms itself on healing and heals the player for the amount of damage it would normally inflict. Okay. And we leveled up. Discard your hand. Oh, I don't know. Double strike. 52 damage. I think this is a good card to have. And we get another ruin. When you use your brawler attack with at least 20 charges, enemy gets minus 40 armor until end of combat. When you use brawler attack with at least 20 charges, stun the enemy. When you kill an enemy with the brawler ruin, heal 5% of your health. I think this is the better one to have. 40 armor. Then again, no, maybe healing is better because Dior doesn't have any way to heal himself. What's that? A twisted deer. Didn't I just kill one of you guys? I think we can still build more stuff as well, because we're getting a lot of equipment there. Village Chief. It brings you relief to see living people among the low buildings of Bogmark Farmstead. Only from up close you notice all is not well. There are many signs of recent combat. One of the buildings is burnt to the ground, and farmhands who work to repair the damage are covered in bruises and cuts. Soon you are noticed. People of Bogmark welcome you with open arms. It seems the rumors of their hostility were unfounded. What happened here? Cursed Wormspawn. Demons, they come at night in many shapes and forms to wreak havoc on the place. They torment us, destroy our homes, and recently they killed old Rugdalf. They killed only one man. Doesn't seem right. Can you show me his body? Well, thing is, we just buried him. Opening a fresh grave will surely shake some people. If you want me to help, I need to know what I'm dealing with. Reluctantly, the man points you the direction of Rugdalf's grave. Okay. You approach the place of a fresh burial. Soon, the grave is uncovered and you examine the wounds of a man called Rugdalf. He was killed by a pitchfork. Not the kind of wound you expect from horde spawn. The man sitting by the grave looks at you expectantly. Okay, I can help you out with these demons. Thank you, but there's still some time left until the evening. You must be tired from your journey. Feel free to get some rest. Anything else I can do? A man observing your conversation from distance shouts in your direction. Show us how good you are with that weapon of yours. The man scolds him. If you feel like it, you can help us out with repairs. Okay. I need to show you how good I am with my weapon. You approach the most experienced fighter in the village. A small crowd gathers around the empty pig pen where you and a tall, muscular hunter prepare to spar. Be careful, Koenact. This boy here slew 100 demons with his own hand. Well, yeah, I'm a blacksmith. And... oh, is that all you got? GG's. Suck it! Your opponent yields. For someone of this reputation, he certainly didn't offer much resistance. Cool. Cool. Where do we want to go next, though? Grab the hidden wealth. And I think this is the corpse. Small strikes. And we can do a quick counter to kill these things if we wanted to. Only attack one. It's sad. And our turn there. Small strikes again. Ooh, why didn't that kill it? We'll attack this. Block. Attack. And finish it off here. We need to make more weapons. I think for now we're just going to go with the druid. And you guys haven't played the board game. The druid is actually one of the characters that you can play as. His name is Maggot. I kid you not, that is his name. Someone gave birth to this child and called him Maggot. Just shows you how much your parents love you. And let's see here. The blacksmith's house. One resource for one weapon. Got the magic dagger. I think the magic dagger might be stronger than our current weapon. Man, we got a lot of shit. The magic dagger does 13 to 16 damage. And does 5 damage to the start of turn. So we're against AoE characters. Makes sense. But I think we're going to keep the shredder for the energy. Go take a look at the druid's house.
You enter the house that once belonged to the druid, and the first thing you notice is the unbelievable stench of rotting flesh. Then a woman springs out of the dark and grabs you by the wrist.
Please don't kill us.
Easy, I'm not killing anyone. Yet.
She falls silent, realizing she took you for someone you're not. She stands up, takes a deep breath and utters just 2 words.
Look around.
There are people all over the cramped interior, lying on the floor, covered in blankets, moaning in pain, dying. They occupy every square inch of this place, save for some narrow paths left for their nurse, who this woman seems to be. But how does she nurse them? There's no medicine for the Red Death.
What happened to these people?
It's a safe haven for the diseased. Travelers, townsfolks, people who would have died on the streets. All were taken by the Red Priest.
You stand among the dying. The nurse looks at you with a quiet prayer on her lips. The Red Priest.
Yes, the Red Scum.
She utters these words through her teeth. Seeing your confusion, she realizes you're not as convinced as she is, and explains further.
It's not true that they burn everyone who's beyond help. They gather them round and send them off to the island asylum, and there they...
Unfortunately, I need you to leave this house.
What?
You explain that the only man who knows how to help with the men here demands this house to be returned to him.
Oh boy.
What do you suggest we do then?
You want my house? You consider your options. What would happen if you handed them to the Red Priest? Is there a way we could ease your suffering permanently? Maybe we could build a new shelter. I can build you a new house. You see the woman's eyes glimmer with hope.
How would you even? The cost would be staggering. And the Red Priest won't take this affront lightly. The laws that let them take our sick are hundreds of years old. Breaking them would earn us a powerful enemy. Not to mention that an asylum next door would make people of Koenact nervous.
New objective. I'm building an infirmary now. Oh boy. Okay. What would happen if we handed them to the Red Priest?
If you decide to do it, it's on you. My conscience won't let me. Go on, talk to them. And if you do, I hope I'll never see you again.
I really don't know what's going on.
You start to explain that there's no point in keeping all these people alive, and that the medicine she's using to ease their pain can be used to get rid of it. Forever. She listens to you quietly, and you realize she's entertained this thought more than once.
There's not nearly enough medicine for everyone. So...
Still thinking.
So...
What the fuck? I want to build you a new house and all of a sudden I have to kill these people? What the hell? Jesus Christ, what the hell? Okay. Side quest, eviction. You can build them an infirmary that can house the thing. How do I do that? What's that? Is that something I can use to build them a thing? I swear to God, can I not interact with that? There's a big question mark on it! Oh boy. So I either execute the sick, or build them a house, and I don't know how to start the quest to build them a house. Or I can pay them 100 gold to basically euthanize them. Red Priest. Yeah, we're not gonna... I don't think the Red Priests are good. How do I build them a freaking house? LA, can you help me? So unuseful. You're so unuseful. I don't want to murder those people. God damn it. Alright, let's just rethink our options. Oh, is that it? This ruins can be rebuilt in order to establish a shelter for the sick. Aha! It's only trading your monies. Take your money. Now there's an infirmary for the Koenact. You should tell the nurse about it. God damn, you want me to execute everyone? But that is all my money now.
So...
I built the infirmary for your patients. Her eyes grew wider than you ever suspected they could.
You did it? For us? I can't find words to express. We will start moving the sick at once. I won't forget what you did here.
You better not. Oh wow! 300 gold for 5 EXP!
You and the nurse leave this domain of death. Just outside the front door, the druid is sitting on the rock. He claps slowly.
Congratulations. That was very sweet of you. You're sure all this work wouldn't be better spent on shoring up your defenses? Anyway, here's my part of the deal. As the Menhir's inner aura fades, the statue becomes more and more numb to the offerings. You need to rekindle it with something new, something it never felt. magic from the homelands. Powerful, ancient magic.
And where can I find it?
Camelot would be my guess. Short of that, the family graves of your Lord Yvain might be a place to check. His ancestors date back to the homelands, after all. Go there and dig until you find a relic of old. Then burn it as a sacrifice to the Menhir. This should do the trick.
Should?
In days of old, Moonring knew everything about Menhirs. I was only fed scraps of this knowledge. If you care so much about the answers, maybe your people shouldn't have slaughtered most of the druids.
Hey, yo, I didn't do jack crap. He grins, baring his black teeth, salutes you, and disappears into his home.
A group of red priests approaches you, fuming with anger.
Fuck. This is unacceptable. The law of the land requires all farmers to hand us over to plague bearers and we're tainted. Fool. If this stronghold became the den of disease, you'll have been endangering more than yourselves. Camelot will hear from this. The knights will purge you with sword and fire. None of you will be left alive to tell of. Bring it on,
You stand over the
biatch!
bodies, the red of their cloth and the red of their blood mixing into a deep, dark colour. They had this coming for a while now, but turning on one of the great powers of Avalon makes you a little nervous.
Wait, what? Where do I fight them? Oh man, that's gonna bite me in the ass. Sure. It's time to go grave, Robin. You have no trouble locating the graves. The family ruling Koenact since ancient days always made a point of being buried alive alongside regular townsfolk, though their ornate gravestones left no doubt as to their legacy. You have no trouble locating the graves. Ignoring the most recent burials, you walk along the alley until you reach two crumbling tombs, both some 4 centuries old. If sages are correct, that's 200 years after the Age of Conquest, but perhaps some homeland relics could still be around there. One of the graves belongs to a child whose name was erased by the winds, rain, and time. Another to a knight. According to the inscription, he fought in some war, but no scholar knows or care about today. Open the child's grave, open the knight's grave. Children. The tombstone is small and easy enough to move aside. Inside, there's a lead coffin. Its seal's already broken, and its lid resting at a crooked angle. Some ancient grave robbers were here before you. Open the coffin anyway. A pitiful pile of little bones, among them a lone toy, an ornament wood figure of a knight that moves once you pull its cord. It takes you a while to realize the toy should have rotted by now. There is a latent magic within it, and the toy's complexity seems to indicate it was made beyond the sea, in ancient Camland. You've got one relic of the homelands. You huff and push aside the marble cover of the scepter. Inside is a weirdly shaped casket made out of material you've seen before. It might be the same stone out of which someone in the old days carved out the Menhir in Koenact. You open the casket and see a crumbling skeleton dressed in ornamented robe, a sword and scarab resting on his chest. Try to lift the entire casket. Take the sword. Take the sword. As you move to remove the sword from the scalp, disappointment washes over you. The ornament blade had never seen any honing and was not made of true steel. There were only so many swords people brought to Avalon from homelands, and as time progressed, they got too scarce to be put into the ground. Try to lift the casket. It's too heavy to lift, but the moment you attempt to move it, you feel a weird sensation all over your body. Leave. Grave digger completed. Let's light up this Menhir.
You approach the guardian menhir of Koenact with the relic. Looking at its cracked surface, you start to wonder whether it will be enough. As you prepare to lay the offering, you feel an imposing presence behind you. The maimed knight is standing just a few paces back, wrapped in his tattered cloak, hood obscuring his face. You never heard his footsteps.
Sacrifice the child's toy.
The flames begin to consume your relic, and you experience a familiar feeling. Things once again seem to come into focus as the menhir's protective power surges fast. Perhaps too fast. The stone almost seems to be trembling. Then, something breaks. Menhir's power disappears in an instant. A chilling wail sounds in the air, coming from within the statue.
Small strands of weirdness begins to form in the air, right in front of your face.
Finally, the menhir itself begins to move. No. Something tries to move out of it. A dark, ethereal apparition with 4 arms and a 3-eyed mask.
The fuck?
Step back!
The maimed knight throws back the cloak, and for a moment you are blinded. Beside you stands a true knight of the Round Table. His armor, though several hundred years old and mended in many places, shines in the torchlight like a falling star. The sight of his face, part of it twisted by weird, and the other part pristine like a portrait of some ancient hero, makes you stop in your tracks. He raises his blade, honed in the fires of now lost homelands, and bellows,
I am Percival of the Round Table! Come at me, wretch!
The link between the apparition and the statue begins to fray as it springs toward the knight. Smaller shadows rise from the ground on both of its sides.
I won't let them near you.
He nods his head, raises his sword, and steps towards the raging apparition, now connected to the menhir with just one thin strand of pure magic.
Sento Kaijin. Oh, right. You're a bit tough. Block. Block. More block. Sparing with special attack. Let's minus this. Stun. He's immune to stun. Great. Fantastic. What's this? Legendary. This card will be removed from your deck after you play it. Proceed guidance. All in. Oof. I guess we should use the Proceed guidance. So we do need to remove... Okay. 1, 2, 3. It's going to deal damage, so we're going to end our turn there. Attack this. It's going to prepare for a special attack. Okay, gotta get counters up. Ooh, that's not good. Stunned. This attack is tripled if it's stunned. -1. Attack with this. Block twice. It's apparition. This never happened in the board game. What the fuck? Read. Crippling attack. End the turn. Receive guidance. Do a hard hit. This actually does more damage. So we're gonna do that. Return. Some more breeding. And now we have vulnerability. Attack with this, that, and trade. Oh man, we gotta save this guy. I don't know how. All in. Receive guidance. Could just use our acid tank. Can't use this on our ally. Call of Camelot. Minus 200 armor. Alright. Oh, he's dead. Oh, wow! What the fuck? Did we just get extremely powerful?
You stagger, the dying wails of Weirdsporn echoing under your skull. Red fog clouds your vision. You barely see Percival, falling to his knees and leaning heavily on his sword. Blood oozes from the gaps of his armor. The spirit screams one last time and reunites with the men here. The familiar feeling that everything is real and in focus returns. Weirdness melts in the air. Percival collapses into the mud at the feet of the men here. Swaying from side to side, you reach the knight. Now that the rags covering him are gone, you clearly see there are worse things than fresh, deep wounds on his body. The weirdness twisted his flesh and changed half of his face into a gruesome mask.
They called me the purest knight to ever sit at the round table. Look at me now.
He chuckles, choking on blood.
Call for help.
People of Koenact left their homes, but they're too afraid to walk up to the men here. Instead, they watch from a safe distance and ignore your pleas.
I don't have bandages. No!
Your people, they would ask for my protection. I couldn't offer it. My mission required me to be on the move, search your lands.
Did we win? The menu restored?
For a while, yes. The relic jolted it to life, but it will fade again. You must carry on my mission. This wasn't supposed to happen. I have failed. Now, you must carry it in my stead.
Percival's voice is fading.
In the old days, when archdruids still tended to the Miniers, there was a rite that kept the statues working. Only few knew it. I was to recover it.
His body begins to shake.
To give Yvain time to deliver the Grail.
Where can I find these rites?
Percival's face grows more pale with his every forced breath. You see his hand reaching up.
Please, my mind is slipping away. Find the rites. Help Yvain.
People of the farmhold gather enough courage to walk up to the men here. You find it hard to believe not a single one of them tried to help you and Percival. Maybe the night was right. Maybe you are this farmhold's last hope. You look at Percival's body again. Serene expression now frozen forever on his pale face. When a knight of the Round Table dies, people who found him are bound by law of the land to return his equipment and armor to Camelot, so that, in time, a new knight might take his place. You also have to ensure his burial.
We have to organize a proper burial.
Some people raise the knight carefully. Soon you're left alone at the foot of the menhir. Koenact and its vicinity are safe. For the time being, there are no more long-lost heirlooms to sacrifice or legendary knights to come to your aid. You feel you should discuss this with the rest of the people. As you look into the distance, you see weirdness receding.
Oh, wow. So basically, we managed to stop the menhir from collapsing on itself. We lost a legendary knight. We can't steal his equipment because it goes back to Camelot. And I think we're just going to call it a day there and pick up next time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this first look into Tainted Grail. And be sure to like and subscribe for more of the content and more playthroughs later on. And I'll see you all later. See ya!